I'm so excited. We have a guest with us today to talk through. It's a Living a Stream episode. Sarah, thanks for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here. It's a dream come true.
It's too kind.
Welcome to the Sweet and Condensed Podcast, a podcast by people who love movies, people, and the magic that lives where they meet.
We're excited because we are talking about a full movie where, based on Jimmy V's 1993 ESPY speech, we use as a rubric. Did the movie hold us in thought? Did it make us laugh? And were we moved to tears, whether it's tears of joy or tears of sadness? And we are going to chat Barbie. But before we get into that, I want to know what's up. Let's catch up. How you been?
Pretty good. Finished school, been working full time since February, and it's exhausting. And working full time is just a lot.
Yeah.
But I work with kids, so that's
Okay.
fun. So I just play all day, but it's also exhausting because you just play all day. But it is nice to have a paycheck.
Yeah, right. I always tell people, no, I do not dream of labor. I do not like working. But
Yes,
at the same time, we need these paychecks so I can
exactly.
have, I guess, a roof over my head and food in my belly or something.
Right.
You were Go Huskies, is that correct? Is that
Go
UW?
Dogs.
Go
Yeah,
Dogs.
UW.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's not Go Huskies, it's Go Dogs.
It's Go Dogs. Yes,
Okay.
DAW. Yes.
Oh, all right. They're hip. They're cool.
Right.
That's amazing. So that school's in like the heart of Seattle.
Yes. Straight Seattle. We live pretty north in the suburbs, but
Okay.
just commuted down for a couple of years.
I was gonna say because you had I feel like a whole journey of the Northwest,
Yeah.
right? Because did you move there like straight from Albuquerque? Is that correct?
Yes.
What was that like? Like, because I feel like there's two totally different terrains
Yes.
and environment and culture.
Yes. We knew we wanted to move right after we got married in December of 19. And we were planning on moving in that spring of 2020. And then COVID hit and Josh got meningitis.
Oh
That
my
was
gosh.
all in March, like the same week. And so we were like, I don't really know what's going to happen. But things kind of settled down. And so we moved to Vancouver, Washington, which is just across the river from Portland, Oregon, because I was planning on going to school in Portland, like applying to schools in Portland. And Josh has always loved the Pacific Northwest, and I like the rain. So we moved in June of 2020 and worked there for a while, kind of doing like rehab aid jobs is what they're called, like just in different OT clinics. And come to find out, this school in Portland was a private school and a doctorate and $1 million.
Oh.
And so all of my PT and OT colleagues said, you don't really need your doctorate unless you want to teach or do research. And I said, I want to work as little as possible. So they said you should just apply to UW then because you'd get in-state tuition and it's public. So applied and then got in. So then we moved up here just north of Seattle. We're in a little town called Mill Creek in September of 22. So we'll have been here 3 years.
Wow.
September. Yeah. But it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because whenever we tell them we're from New Mexico and that like we wanted to get away from the sunshine, everyone's like, how could you want to get away from the sun? And it's like, well, maybe after 20 years of living in the rain, we'll get tired of it. But for now, it's a nice break.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Like it's such a strange thing being in a place where rain lasts longer than like a quick sprint, or like
Yeah.
5-10 minutes or whatever. Here, there was a
Totally.
time where it snowed. It felt like for 72 hours. It'll rain for several hours, and it was just like I knew these places exist, right? I knew the
Right.
Pacific Northwest, especially with Twilight, that
Yes,
it's
exactly.
rainy, and those are the environments, that they can rain for days. I knew that in my head,
Yeah.
but experiencing it was much different. Considering, yeah, Albuquerque's just a different just a different climate. And were people like, did people know about Albuquerque in New Mexico out in the Pacific Northwest?
Vaguely, they know like Breaking Bad and more.
Okay,
High School Musical also is a big one. Did
that's
you know that
funny.
High School Musical is theoretically set in Albuquerque?
I found that out later because
Okay.
if I'm being honest, I've never seen it.
Which is fair.
People say that I have to, but I heard that it was filmed in Utah,
Yeah.
but set in Albuquerque because everyone's like they were trying to figure out what high school is filmed at, and people
Right.
thought it was La Cueva because of the colors, maybe
Uh-huh.
the red and black or
Yep.
something school. But anyways, that's funny. It's the TV show or the pop culture, the
Oh,
TV
yeah.
shows that people are familiar with.
Oh, totally. There'll be the occasional person who's like been to Santa Fe or Taos or knows about the Balloon Fiesta, but they always call it
That's
the Balloon
funny.
Festival.
Oh,
So yeah, always have to like subtly correct them.
right. And in Colorado, we always get people who say they love New Mexico. That's always
Okay.
like I would say about 75% of people that where New Mexico gets brought up, they say I love New Mexico, and then I say, "Oh my gosh, I'm from Albuquerque," and then they always say, "Oh, I've never made it that far."
Right.
They love northern New Mexico is really what they love. Santa
Right.
Fe, they love Taos, they love Chama.
Yes.
And I understand that too because it's very similar to southern Colorado. It's very
Yeah.
outdoorsy, campy, woodsy. Because I think I discovered northern New Mexico later in life where
Totally.
I didn't appreciate it. I was like, oh, we do have green.
Right.
We do have a forest, or we do have trees. But
Totally.
and so okay, so and UW is I hear a great school, and OT is pretty competitive with occupational therapy. Is
Yeah.
that is OT? Because I know Noah
Mhm.
also went to OT school, and I just always feel like any of the like OT, PA, like all the initial stuff,
Right.
PT is very competitive
Uh-huh.
regardless of the school. But like, how was that? Like, was it pretty competitive at UW?
It felt that way. When you think about it, there's only 24 spots in a cohort for our class. And I think there's anywhere from like 300 to 500 applicants ish a year.
Oh my gosh.
So it's, I have done the math at some point, but
Yeah.
yeah, it felt really competitive and very intimidating and imposter syndrome applying.
Yeah.
And I initially got waitlisted, and so it was like an even longer waiting game of you might have a spot if some other people don't accept. And then I got the email that the cohort was full and I didn't get in. And this is my favorite story about Bernie being an emotional support dog, because I was like crashing out, like just like lying on the floor. Bernie was like, "You're on the floor. We're playing." Not right now. But then a couple weeks later, I got an email of like, "Just kidding. We have a spot if you want it." And I said, "Yes, please."
Oh, the emotional damage and roller coaster
Oh my
of
God. So tumultuous.
academia.
So tumultuous. But that was also another level of imposter syndrome of like, "Oh, they didn't want me on the first round. I shouldn't be here." But then once you get there, it's like, oh, we're all over our heads, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And you said you work with kids. Do you specialize in like, because Noah was telling me all my stuff that I know about anything like OT is Noah, and because I knew nothing.
No one does. It's okay.
Because the first time I heard OT, occupational therapy, I thought you would go to therapy about your occupation
Right.
and your job.
Right.
So I thought it was like an LMFT, but
Sure.
not family life, but your vocation.
Right. Which is a fair assessment from just the name. Because Noah does hands, is that right?
I think so. I think he decided to specialize in hands.
Yeah. So OT is kind of bananas in that it's such a broad category. But my spiel is that it's really similar to physical therapy, but PT is more so like regaining strength, range of motion, and like your ability to move your body. And OT is what you do with your body, like your daily occupations. So it's
Oh.
cooking, cleaning, grooming, and hygiene. Just those things you do on the day to day that you can't always do post injury. So, like for Noah, I don't want to assume PT for like hands in your arm would be like strengthening, stretching, and all that fun stuff. But Noah might be like, okay, well, here's how you drink from a coffee mug with your injury, how you can write again. So it's just the application of those things. But with kids, it's a little bit different because a lot of the times they don't have like an injury that we're treating. It's just helping them live their best occupational lives as a kid. So a lot of kid occupations are like playing, going to school, and like learning how to be kids. So it's a lot of like fine motor, learning how to handwrite. We do a lot of sensory integration, which is interesting. So it's like, kids have meltdowns, and a lot of the time it can be just sensory overload as opposed to just like they're just crying for no reason. So it's a lot different than what Noah does on the day to day, I'm sure. But it's really just focused on helping you live your best life during your daily activities.
That's fascinating. That's interesting. Because, I get lost in the whole specialization and differences between physical therapy and
Totally.
because I'm currently going to physical therapy, and
Yeah.
they were telling me that, I was like the poster child for muscular skeletal immobility. And so it's
So
stretching
fun.
and all this stuff. And,
Yeah.
but it's so related to those things
Yeah.
in the sense that they're like, what are your goals? I'm like, I want to touch my toes. I want to be able to run. I want to be
Yeah.
able to stand for a while I film, because long film days are hard on my back, and I want
Yeah.
to be able to do a few hours without just having the normal amount of strain or whatever, which
Totally.
feels like there's like a gray crossover area with OT,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's more traumatic maybe with OT as well, where it's like you can't pick up a mug like you were mentioning. And so I can pick up a mug.
For sure.
I'm blessed in that way and privileged in that way. And thank goodness, because I don't know what I'd do without my vices of caffeine. But
Right.
also, I just noticed your sweatshirt, which would probably be a good transition into the movie. But I am I don't know why I didn't notice it earlier. But
It was covered.
did you buy that like right away off the? Was it off the actual Martell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. As soon, literally in the theater, when that scene came up, I was like, they have to sell this. Like, they have to. So when they dropped it, I was like, pre-order.
Oh,
uh,
for this podcast episode specifically.
exactly. I knew in
you
my
knew.
heart that I'd be talking about it someday.
That's great. So why don't we go ahead and jump into this
Great.
episode? So again, it's the held in thought. It's the things that make us laugh, and then the things that move us to tears, whether it's joy or sadness. And Jimmy V said that if you do that every day, that's a full day. And if you do that every day of your life, then that's a full life. And so for us, we like to see what movies are full movies. And today we get to chat with Sarah, because this is Sarah's full movie that she had been, because I reached out to her and said, hey, what's a full movie and would you like to discuss it on the podcast? And she said Barbie, which for myself, even during the days of Oppenheimer, or Barbenheimer, my bad, Barbenheimer, it was, maybe that's another reason why it was a full movie for me. One, didn't know I was getting into, there was tears, and then afterwards, I got my ears blown out in Dolby theaters watching Oppenheimer, and maybe slightly traumatized, but no. But so maybe my memory is just, that day was just full of emotions. But
Sure.
the Barbie's letterbox description says she's everything he's just Ken. Barbie and Ken are having the time of their lives in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living among humans. This is starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, America Ferrera, and also like a million other people. Tons of cameos, written and directed by Greta Gerwig. And so, first off, Sarah, just your initial thoughts. Why Barbie? Why is Barbie the first or initial thing that you wanted to chat about when it comes to a full movie?
Yeah. Great question. I loved Barbies growing up as a kid. That was my staple. And especially the weird Barbie scenarios. Like, that was just absolutely so accurate with Kate McKinnon being weird Barbie. And like, just kids doing the most random stuff and putting their Barbies in the most random scenarios. I loved that. And so when I heard there was going to be a movie, it was like, this is it. I thought of it like, you know how, this is generalizing, the millennials like really love Harry Potter and like really full send Harry Potter. That was never me. I like Harry Potter, but I never felt that like connection to it. And so with this, I was like, yes, especially when Greta Gerwig got announced as the director. It was like, okay, this is going to be a legit movie, not just a silly toy movie.
Like big IP cash grab.
Right. It was like, okay, Greta Gerwig, queen of coming of age, talking about womanhood again, as she does so well. Yeah, so I was already locked in 100% before I knew anything about it. And then when like the first trailers dropped of like, do you guys ever think about dying? It was like, oh, fantastic. This is everything. Wow. Yeah, I could go on my whole tangent now, but overall, it just felt like a very poignant message to like young Sarah and the time 25-year-old Sarah.
Love it. That's okay. So you bring up Greta Gerwig. That was something I was gonna ask at some point, because I know when we first met, we would always talk about Wes Anderson and writing directors and these movies that are made by, I guess writer director is the best word for the kind of directors. Someone who just has like a vision, executes. The Coen brothers write and directed, and so I think these movies are very special. So I was just curious about Greta. Like, so it sounds like then you followed Greta Gerwig's directorial life. Did you also know Greta as an actor before she was directing? Okay.
I had seen Frances Ha and that one, but I primarily knew her from Lady Bird and Little Women.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone always talks about Frances Ha, and again, sadly, I've never seen it. It's on my list.
Yeah.
But I feel like I need to watch it. People say it's life-changing for some people. I don't know if it hits everyone the same way, though.
Right. I wouldn't say it was life-changing for me, but I could totally see the internal draw it has to some people.
Yeah.
For sure.
We just talked about Lady Bird the other day because we did a movie swap with Eric and Kelly, and they made me watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Right.
Shameless plug. That's the previous episode, or at least an episode we released kind of recently. So go check that out. And then I was like, what movie do I want to share with Kelly? And she said she's never seen Lady Bird. And I just felt like, I was like, oh, everyone has to watch this.
Yeah.
And then you'll see if you listen to the episode, I was like, oops. It was still a great movie, but a little maybe too close to home for Kelly, and I hadn't put those two things together about.
Sure.
But to your point, though, Greta Gerwig's just this, I feel, an incredible coming of age storyteller, and it seemed kind of not out of her wheelhouse at all, because I think she could do anything. But yeah, when she was announced for Barbie, I'm a big fan of these writer-directors who normally do indie stories like Lady Bird and, well, even it's kind of actually Little Women's a giant IP too.
Right. But it feels indier.
Yeah. Did I tell you I watched it for the first time like a year ago, which sounds really bad? Because all my favorite people are in it.
Yeah. Great point.
Have you watched all the Little Women? Like all the different versions?
I watched the original.
Okay.
I
Are you a fan of this one?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Out of Greta Gerwig's these three movies, is Barbie at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Lady Bird was probably a little bit lower.
Okay.
Ranking, yeah.
Okay. And so it's Lady Bird's above Little Women, or Little Women?
It's probably Barbie, Little Women.
Okay.
Lady Bird.
Yeah, she's just so great, and she always gets like these, I don't know, really fun people to be in all her movies. So, all right, so let's just go off because I know you said you could go on your tangents now, so let's just jump into it
Great.
of the held in thought parts.
Yeah.
Why was this a movie that? Because it's not just like things that make you think, but it's the ones that are like this grabbed me, and I'm in this. I can't stop thinking about this. Like I'm really held for a while, and I'm thinking about it post movie after when you sit in the parking lot talking with your friends, but then like a week later you're like still mulling on it. So what was this movie that was so gripping?
Oh man. I think first off, just the spirit of girlhood and community that really came together for it. I also, this is a good weekend for me. I did Barbie, Barbenheimer, then saw Taylor Swift. So it was like
Oh wow.
girl power weekend. So that was a really nice aspect of it, like being there on opening night with a whole theater of primarily women, like just that communal rooting for one another, hi Barbie feeling. But man, I think the first thing that gripped me was this feeling of like ignorance is bliss and choosing between the Birkenstock or the heel, of like, this is the world I've been so comfortable with, and I know there's a world outside, but I don't know if I really want to venture in. And I felt that was very much how I felt growing up in like a very conservative religious household, and then realizing there are more viewpoints and more to that than what I've been comfortable with. And choosing the Burke for me kind of felt like going through deconstruction and just figuring out what there is. And it was really hard and like the most depressed I've ever been figuring that out. But better than staying in Barbie Land with the high heel. That was a big one. And then piggybacking off of that, like the whole depression Barbie aspect later on is so funny. And I love that bit. But yeah, just feeling this pressure to be perfect and to look a certain way and to like be good Christian Barbie with my Young Life t-shirt and my ESPY study Bible, and how a lot of anxiety and depression doesn't really fit in that box a lot of the time.
Right.
But embracing it and realizing that it's okay and learning, because that's just what being human is, and figuring it out as you go along.
Yeah. I feel like with this movie, I was someone who was able to be let in, but looking from the outside in as not being a woman, and knowing it was special, but not knowing the fullness to it, but feeling honored to be able to get a glimpse of that, because I didn't grow up playing with Barbies.
Right.
I'm assuming my sister had some. Maybe I remember some memories of Barbies laying around, but it wasn't enough to where it is a definitive like, yep, there was Barbies in our house and they were playing.
Right.
Because it's been so interesting talking to friends. They're like, oh, I had this Barbie or weird Barbie, really, because to me I was like, oh, that's funny, and I remember people used to do things to Barbies like that, but I never had that actual like connection. It's more like maybe for me it would be mid 90s watching that movie, and I was like, oh, I remember, like, that's funny because I remember being a guy, or Dee Dee, because I had this boy experience of coming of age. But it still resonated and connected in these ways of what you were saying about this either or in some of the spaces we're in, like the conservative Christianity, or for me it was the Young Life and the Christian. My household wasn't a religious household, but just that theology or framework or ideology that we were in, where you can't be sad and depressed and you can't have these things. So the part about, because I agree with do you ever think about dying? I was just talking to my therapist about this. Well, probably not just, I probably talked about it for the last year, but I was like, it's really hard answering questions about life and death and dark thoughts and being depressed, because the stigma that comes with it or the assumptions, because I was like, I don't like those questions when you have to fill out these forms because it's permanent. And I'm like,
Sure.
I feel like there's a much different when I say it's not that I said I never want to harm myself. I don't
Yeah.
think about harming myself,
Right.
but I do think about dying. Like I do
Yeah.
think about like what that's like. And I feel like those two things are different, at least for me. And being able to actually talk about them, I think is in a weird way liberating.
Yeah.
Yet we're not able to. So I love that you that also resonated or connected with you, because that was like one of the last things I would expect to be in a Barbie movie.
Totally. I completely agree. And I wrote it in our notes, so you probably read it. But when I first heard that in the trailer, I was like, oh, Barbie's a little bit suicidal. Great. Love
Yeah,
that.
that's
But then
right.
like, oh, this is more so like everyone fears dying and like
Right.
being mortal and not suicidal ideation like I initially thought it was gonna be.
Right.
But it's still like a very, yeah, the last thing you would have expected from Barbie. But then they made that like the bit in the trailer and made that a huge
Mhm.
of the themes of the movie, which I love.
Yeah. And have you seen 2001 Space Odyssey, the Stanley Kubrick?
I've never watched it all the way through, but I am familiar with the opening scene and the reference. And that was also a really special part of like being in the theater and having it open on that and being like, what is happening? But also feeling like, oh, we still have an indie director here making these
Right.
references.
Because I'd never seen it. So,
Yeah.
but I knew it was a scene from a movie, but I was just curious, what your thoughts on that scene, if that had any impact when it comes to the womanhood and
Yeah,
what that scene did or means to you.
sure.
Oh, there's another shirt.
I know.
That's hilarious. I
Billie.
love it.
Thank you. I think that just framed it really well for the just setting up the whole movie of it was made to be this like empowering, wonderful thing that says like girls can do anything and not just be mothers. But then I think that scene compared to when they're at the middle school talking to the teenager of like, yes, it tried to be all these things, but it's actually been really challenging for women with these unrealistic standards and like consumerism. So I really appreciated them starting with that, because I don't think I even had the concept of like, that's what Barbie originally was supposed to be, that women can have their own careers. But I just really appreciate the balance that she was able to strike of like, yes, this is consumerism. Yes, this is $1 billion movie for a company over a doll. But what it can mean is so much more than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so even with the deep meanings,
Yeah,
the symbolism, there's a lot of like, I think this movie's so layered
totally.
and there's a lot going on, but like even in the midst of that, we have this such great and well-written comedy that brings such levity to this movie. What were some of the things that made you like laugh? What was the in terms of this full movie watch? What's going on when it comes to laughter?
So many things. I really love that it was self-aware right away, and
Okay.
that like Helen Mirren as the narrator kind of broke the fourth wall for us. And oh gosh, it just felt in that initial sequence like this was what it felt like to play Barbies as a kid, and that's great. But then the whole sequence of like Barbie winning a Nobel Prize and being an astronaut, like that just felt like pure joy. And then oh god, what didn't make me laugh? Like Ryan Gosling as a character. Like I love that he's such a good actor, and like before this, I was doing a Ryan Gosling binge before Barbie, and it was like
Okay.
watching Place Beyond the Pines and Drive, and it's like this Ryan Gosling is playing petulant Ken, and he does it so well. I think just the casting in general is great. Michael Cera's character as Alan, who's just like there and just is like he's just pure comedic relief, it feels like.
And I heard that Alan was like a real, like they released one version of Alan and that was
Yeah.
it, one and done.
I was unfamiliar with him before.
Me too.
But like how funny to include that and to cast Michael Cera to be this
Yes.
like uniquely awkward male Barbie. Oh man, there's too many laugh moments. Back to the one after the lunchroom scene where Barbie's crying, says she thinks I'm a fascist, but I don't even control the railways or the flow of commerce. It's like,
What?
what? That one killed me. The whole like de-brainwashing scene where all the Barbies are having to like break away from the Kens.
Oh yeah.
They do it by like seeming helpless in front of the Kens, and they're like, do you know how to use Photoshop? And then they're like, oh, yes, you just have to select the right layer. And what are you watching? The something about like the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League.
Oh my gosh.
When she comes in like, are you watching The Godfather? And it's like such ridiculous little things that felt so perfectly like this is like just random enough, but perfect. Of course, the singing straight to Barbie for 5 minutes straight. My only wish, and I'm sure other people feel differently, is that he would have played Wonderwall instead of Coda. But
oh gosh,
it's just so funny and just like such a universal female experience. Like you wouldn't know, Josh, but that does happen a lot where people who play instruments will play for you and you just sit there and it's like great.
all right. It's like the first thing that came to my mind is like, do you want a treat? Like a dog? Like thanks for
right
performing. But
right.
It's so funny because I think we were talking about this with the Harrisons, and the Kelly was saying the same thing, which is funny because being a musically declined person, I've never been able to have the honor to be a part of that, to sing at someone. But it's like not, it seems similar to like mansplaining.
Yeah.
I don't know how that actually is real, but it just feels that way.
No, I think that's an astute comparison.
But if it was Wonderwall, though, I feel like it would have cut straight to our young life.
Yes.
I'll speak for myself. Some of those not traumatic, but you know what I mean.
Right.
But it would have been so funny and maybe
right.
too on the nose for us. But
little too much, but yeah,
it would have been perfect. It
Right.
would have been perfect.
Right. My only
And
critique.
That's what's funny too, because I was like, because my first thought was this is too specific of a experience for this not to be a thing out of Greta's life. But then the more women I talked to, I was like, oh, it's not a specific to Greta's life. It's specific to a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
But
more than you would think initially.
And it's easy for me who doesn't play instruments to be like, who like the audacity, who would do that? But I'm very scared to see a parallel universe where I play an instrument and then I'm like, am I only saying this because I can't play an instrument? And if I did, would I be that person?
Yeah.
You know, anyways, I digress. But Ryan Gosling, because we did do another shameless plug. We did an episode because on Ryan Gosling, I feel like he has range. New Mexico Drew thinks his range is hot brooding guy or hot funny guy, and that's his range.
Okay.
And after we like went through this whole debate, I can see where he's coming from, but Eric's gonna be so hyped that you are watching Place Beyond the Pines, because that's a movie I haven't seen and he loves it, and he gives me so much crap that I've seen parts of it and I just don't remember it.
Sure.
But I think yes, like to your point though, you see him in these early days with Drive and Place Beyond the Pines are these more dramatic. Was it Blue Velvet and was it Blue Velvet? No, Blue Valentine.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. And then you see all these like roles, like Nice Guys to me is like top tier, most underrated movie of the
So
2010s.
funny.
But okay, it's not lost on me, and I want to hear your thoughts too
Yeah.
about like, did Ryan Gosling do exactly what,
Hmm.
like what? How do I say this? Like it's about Barbie, and he's a
Yeah.
supporting character,
Right.
and in the movie, it's like he makes it all about himself with the what's it, Mojo Dojo Casa House and
Uh-huh.
Brewski Beer Me and all this other stuff,
Right.
which is so funny to me because I'm going on another tangent. I'm so sorry,
No, please.
but so we just did another episode with Patrick. He was one of my professors.
Yeah.
And we were talking about chai tea and how that's like TT,
Right.
like that's and then he told me Sahara is the word for desert. So it's like desert. And I was like, this is what happens when men are in charge of the world. We just name things, the things they are. We're going around saying like brewski beer me everywhere.
Sure.
Which I, again, was so spot on with Barbie. But I felt like he got a lot of attention off this, like, then the whole Barbie movie was about Ken
Sure.
in real life because he's getting all these nominations. And then Greta doesn't get nominated, I don't think, for directing. So anyways, what are your thoughts on all that, I guess?
Yeah, great question. Because I think in the promo leading up to it, we're led to believe that like Will Ferrell is the villain and the company is the villain. And Ken's just like supportive boyfriend. But I think the way they made it like about Ken's insecurity was very apt. Because if you think about it, the studio is not going to want the studio to be the villain.
That makes sense.
And I totally feel for like the spotlight being on him because it was just such a standout role. Like I feel like it was just peak petulant, toxic masculinity, like laid so bare of like this is how ridiculous it looks. I think this may be off base. I think if he didn't have his own musical number, if he didn't have I'm Just Ken, I don't think it would have been nearly as. I don't think he would have gotten as much as he did. But it's such a good. It's so good, and the fact that like Ryan Gosling can actually sing and have, I'm not surprised that like the focus shifted to him. I feel like it's kind of apt for the movie in a way.
Right.
Well, this is what we're talking about, and not that it was bad that he got
right
an acclaim for it, but I didn't feel super strongly. I know that was a struggle for some people, but I thought it was just such a funny way to go about it. And I also love that because part of my Barbie playings as a kid was like they always fell in love. It was always Ken coming to the rescue, always they got married. So the fact that they didn't make the relationship part of it was also really nice, I think. And like in the end when Barbie and Ken are talking where it's like it's Barbie and Ken, not just Barbie and Ken. It was really nice because it was like he is Knuff. And like, I don't know. I think it was a clever way that they did everything. And while focusing on Ryan over everyone else is like not a shock.
Right. And I think that if anyone was going to be put in a meta type of situation, I feel like Ryan Gosling, and maybe I'm biased because I think Ryan Gosling can do no wrong.
Totally.
He is the guy to be in that role. I feel like both literally Ken, but also Ryan Gosling in real life playing Ken and being a part of this ironic situation and proving. That's the other thing. I felt more on the side of like, this is just proving the point. Like it's proving everything that we're seeing, and I don't want to get angry about it. I want to say like, yeah, look, see? And Ryan Gosling, again, is the perfect dude to be in that situation.
Have you seen the interview of him talking about, like, Greta Gerwig reached out to him of, like, I want you to be Ken, and he was thinking about it. And then what, like, sold him on it is that he was in the backyard playing with his kids, and he saw a Ken doll face down in the dirt next to, like, a crushed lemon or something like that. And he was like, I have to play this role. Like, that is what spurred him on to do it was, like,
That's it.
and being thrown to the side.
No, which is odd because I feel like I've watched almost all his like there's some of the funniest like he is so effortlessly hilarious
Totally.
in all the things he's doing, and maybe that's another reason why New Mexico Drew's like he doesn't have range because he's just being himself.
Sure.
But the thing is, I'm like, I'm okay with that.
He's great.
And he's great as that. Like let him run. Let him be this this person that's just effortlessly hilarious and enjoyable and entertaining. Because I think we also forget, I forget that he's a Mickey Mouse Club kid.
Yeah.
And just very talented. Sings, dance, acts. He's all around well-rounded actor. Okay.
Totally.
The last section or the next section here is emotions to tears, which I'm sure there's plenty here, but let's dive into that. Well, what was that like for you?
I kind of want to ask you first.
Oh gosh.
What brought the tears for you?
It was near the end when she was talking, when she was going through all the different doors and she was talking to the founder.
Bruce.
And then when and then again when, so that's where the emotions hit me the hardest, and the tears started coming. And when Billie Eilish's what was I made for song comes on, it's always when like everything intersects and you hit this apex, whether it's like the music, the scene, the dialogue, and the cinematography, they meet at this magical point where it just hits all at once, and maybe it's sensory overload. And then, just thinking about Ken, the Knuff, because that like just wrecks me in life, where I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I am all these things that people say about me. I don't think the belief in people, I'm like, you should take that belief and put it somewhere else where it's going to be, better invested. You'll get a better ROI, imposter syndrome like crazy. So I think hearing that, obvious, not as I don't think I, again, never sang at people, never had a coup and took over women's mansions and turned it into my Dojo Casa house. And I would like to think I'm not the most fratty person. So it's not I was resonating with Ken. It was just that overall theme, and that made me cry. Like that brought the tears, was just that idea of like, it's people or it's things or it's life, and there's Josh. Like it's and Josh. Like I think being able, especially being someone who's chronically single by choice, and being someone that is moving through life differently than those, or at least seemingly it feels around me, that it just feels like, oh, this is, and like being a part of and Josh and being whole in that, because I think just thinking about how I get it's a nice sentiment where they're like, oh, this is my better half, or this other half completes me. It just makes me so sad, because then I'm like, wait, does that mean I'm incomplete?
Yeah.
Does that mean if that person, God forbid, leaves this earth, does that leave the other person incomplete? And so I just been, these last couple of years, just been really thinking about this idea that we are complete people. And then when you get to be in companionship with someone, it's not that they're completing you. It's just that you get to choose to no longer journey alone, I guess. I'm sure I have more things and thoughts, but yeah. So anyways, that really touched me and made me think about that going into the development of an atomic bomb and blowing up a whole city. So
humanity.
Humanity. Humanity.
Okay.
There was a lot of emotions going into that. Did you, side tangent real quick. Which one did you do? Well, we'll ask after. We'll talk about Barbenheimer later. Okay. Go ahead. What? Okay. So that was my emotions moved to tears. What about you?
I really like your sentiment though. I think that apex moment of Billie Eilish, like that initial lyric of like, when did it end? All the enjoyment. And it was like, God, if that isn't growing up and like realizing that life sucks, like, and then looking back and being like, when did I start feeling depressed. How long has this been going on? When did I stop enjoying the ignorance of childhood? That moment, and then the montage of just all the women was just so touching and so like heartfelt in a movie that was set in like Barbie land, and it felt kind of the montage of all the women just felt like it was kind of coming out of the movie, like breaking the fourth wall a little bit of like, this is what it really looks like and this is what it's all about. That moment, and then that whole I compare it to like the creation of Adam, when Ruth like gives her first breath, and it was like just so emotional of wanting to be human, but like being like, but it's awful, but still wanting to do it as hard and as painful as it is.
To that point, like ending, it felt like a perfect ending as Barbie goes to a gynecologist.
Oh my God. I was going to say that, like having it start on like this 2001 Space Odyssey reference and then ending with like, cause you think she's just going to say, I'm here for a doctor's appointment or whatever, like, or for a job. And it's like, for the gynecologist, like was just the perfect, like Greta Gerwig, you know that they wanted to cut that, but like she let them.
There's just so many layers to that, I feel like.
Absolutely. Like having to go to the gynecologist is never a fun experience. It's like not one of the perks of adulthood and of womanhood, I would say. But just the excitement of getting the chance was a perfect way to end it. Laughter to tears was definitely the Depression Barbie commercial halfway through. Cracked me up so hard because it's like, oh, she's having a mental breakdown. Great. And they like have her laying on the floor, but then just the sharp cut, because they did a commercial earlier with like the Mojo Doja Casa house, which I thought was a hilarious fourth wall break too, to like Depression Barbie. Like it was just perfect and like just so good with the Barbie crying and like eating and watching Pride and Prejudice. Like that, just the fact that they did that cracked me up so much that I cried.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. I remember going into this, people saying that it was going to be about Genesis. So I love that, like, there's like creation story, maybe not just Genesis from the Christian tradition, but just any creation mythologies of, like you had mentioned, like breath, because I know the breath, life, and divine and creation and humanity is a big thing. And I think theologies outside of Christianity. And so I just love how subtle that was. It wasn't going to be over the like banging people over the head on some of these metaphors or symbology that was used in this movie. Other than obviously the 2001 Space Odyssey was like a giant, huge one, but which again, I think it's just so cool to show her that she's a student of film. Like it's both comedic and hilarious, but also very intentional. Like it's not like I don't know if you remember those, what was it? Mel Brooks movies like Spaceballs, where they make fun of Star Wars. Like, it's like a more parody or making fun of, but it's using humor, but like in a very intentional, and I think
like reverent.
Yes, very reverent and very smart. So, but one of the funniest lines for me was the sublime. I think I have never laughed, or I hadn't laughed that hard in Barbie until that line took me out.
Absolutely. So good. Just so unexpected.
Yes. And maybe that's the guy part too, where it's like the act too cool, and then you go behind closed doors and you're giddy, but you're not allowed to do the whole like hang up and talk to your girlfriends. Like that's so frowned upon. But like the fact that he's like, I don't know, and he goes around, you just hear him scream sublime. It was just perfect comedic timing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now that we talked about the movie, I just if I thought it would be fun. We used to do this on our early days of this podcast. back in the day when the whole podcast was called Living a Stream, and we would do these special segments that I think like 2 people would listen to because
I
we would
love it.
send only this audio on Substack. And then I realized like, I don't know if anyone even listens to audio on Substack, but we did Stuck in the Middle. It's like
Yeah.
you're flying internationally between 2 characters. Who are you sitting between?
Yeah.
So if you're going to pick 2 characters out of, oh, I see that you did write,
Was it
you
from
wrote some
Barbie?
things.
Did you mean Barbie?
Well, I love I just realized I saw your answers and I love it. Also, I did not read a lot of your
Okay.
notes. I wanted it to be fresh. That's
Great.
why I'm also surprised right now. But what are the drinks? So yes, say 2 characters from Barbie, but then I want to hear about this other 2 people you're sitting between here.
Different. From Barbie, it would probably be America Ferrera's character.
Okay.
Oh man, there's so many. And then maybe like astronaut Barbie to talk about like Barbie space.
Oh, okay.
This is a tangent, but I wanted to mention this. The
Yes.
set design with the practical backgrounds when they go to and from Barbie Land, it's just perfect whimsy and perfect like how it felt to play with
Yeah.
these. And that it was like practical and just love that. But yeah, America Ferrera's character, I just love I think she'd be a good seatmate. Like she'd know if you wanted to rest and chill. And then like astronaut Barbie to talk about astronaut space or Barbie space.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I didn't even think about which again might be my own inclinations and bias. I just was like, oh yeah, no, I didn't even think about all the like the mini characters. No offense to any of them.
No.
Oh, also pregnant Barbie being Emerald Fennell
so funny.
Oh, I was so stoked.
Did you know it was her when you watched it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So just
I did
learning
learning about it. Someone told me that and I was like, oh, I need to watch this movie again. Only because Emerald I don't think she's an actor. Therefore, I don't think I've seen her face a lot. I wasn't really sure what, and I cannot for the life of me remember the Oscars of 2020 or 2021, where she won for Pretty Promising Young Woman. So I don't think I knew what she looked like for a long time. So anyways, and also her feature is so like short, and there was like a million people, including John Cena, which was very surprising.
Right.
That I kept having to like either Google or look, say, wait, who's actually in this movie? There's so many people.
So many.
But
wait,
okay, and
the next 2 or in between.
Who would I?
Yeah.
Oh, I would sit in between. My first thought was Alan and Ken, just because. But Ken specifically before the fall of man, because the way he was like just so clueless about everything when he was like, beach. What do you mean? No, I don't save people. Beach. Like, I want to see him on a plane and order stuff and think like, what is he ordering? What's going on? What is he's like, is he touching buttons? Is he not touching buttons? Like,
that's great.
And maybe he is window to keep him from being too wild. And also I'd be curious if, the whole looking out the window thing. And then Alan, just because he's would Alan. Be so awkward. And I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
That's a great answer.
And also, I know it's not Ryan Gosling, but whenever I can, I choose Ryan Gosling because is a dream to. I selfishly think we'd be friends. I don't know if he'd actually like me, and I don't know if he'd appreciate my humor and stuff, but I feel like we'd get along.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay, so I see your answers from other movies. I would love to chat about that. Who are these other people?
Okay, so I didn't realize you meant specifically Barbie. That would have made sense since we're talking about Barbie. But for the other 2, for across any movies, sit in the middle, I chose Benoit Blanc from Knives Out and Danny Ocean from Ocean's 11.
Love it.
Ocean's 11 is just one of those like classics. I can watch it a million times and not get bored. And I love George Clooney. And then Benoit Blanc, like Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc is one of my favorite. He's just so funny. And then I think like the dynamic of like detective and professional heist man together would be
Yep.
really fun. Yeah.
And they're ordering, is Benoit Blanc ordering gin and then Danny Ocean doing
Oh,
ginger ale, or
I
is
thought
those
we were-
combined?
that was what I was gonna drink, but I
Oh,
figured,
you're drinking gin and ginger.
I didn't read the question thoroughly, I don't think.
Oh, you're totally fine. I don't know if I've ever had gin and ginger.
No? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's always because I always think about whiskey and ginger.
Yeah.
And then I just never made it. But gin and ginger, that's your drink.
It's one of them. Tequila is
Okay.
probably what I go for, but I was like, I had to
Yep.
like class it up a little bit.
Okay, tequila on a plane, not the move. But
We'll
tequila
see.
on the ground,
Yes.
not 30,000 feet in the air.
Right.
Okay. I get tequila sodas, and I got called a sociopath the other day. So, because they're
Oh.
like that's like the grossest drink.
Interesting.
Because people normally do like tequila, other things. I guess maybe they
Yeah.
do shots of tequila or like
Sure.
I guess the soda water. Maybe it's because it's not sweet like gin and
Sure.
tonics
Right.
or whatever. But I thought it was funny.
Wow.
Big fan of tequila sodas though. They
Yeah.
are pretty bubbled, watered down tequila.
Gotta
So
do
I
extra
kind
lime.
of understand that.
Right.
Yeah, always with a lime though.
Yeah. Oh,
That's funny. Okay. Barbenheimer. Did you? So
Yeah.
you did do it.
yes.
Okay. Which would you watch first? Which was the order? And was that strategic or it just happened that way?
Strategic. So I actually saw Barbie the Wednesday before for like a
Okay.
special screening or something.
Okay. Yep.
So that was the really fun. Like everyone was dressed up. It was like felt very communal watching it all together. And then that Friday, I did Oppenheimer in the morning, thinking like this is gonna be heavy and like intense. And then I already know what to expect from Barbie, so that'll pick me back up. And I feel like that was the right decision. I get the
Yep.
flip, but I think for me it was like Oppenheimer is kind of like stressful because it's like,
Oh yeah.
but then just being able to watch Barbie again the second time and like relax and be like,
Okay.
these are all the things I didn't catch the first time, and like I know that this funny part is coming up.
Yeah, I agree. That's the same way I did it. I understand the argument of Barbie as a palate cleanser, but then I'm like, that's offensive to Barbie. Then the role isn't Greta Gerwig's masterpiece. It's like the ginger that's like not even a part of the meal of the sushi. It's just to
Sure.
clean your tongue. And I wanted to appreciate. Also,
Yeah.
I was like, it's Barbenheimer, not
Sure.
Up in Arby
Up-
or whatever
right.
it would be.
Great point.
Okay. And so if 2 movies this year, this is the last of the Barbie conversation, but if you have the time, I would love to ask you some other questions that are completely
Great.
not relevant to Barbie. But
Love it.
what are the 2 movies this year that are either releasing or have been released in 2025 do you think would make a great Barbenheimer?
Yeah, this was a hard question. I've been a bad cinephile the past year finishing school, but in my research, I thought that Freakier Friday is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you're excited for Weapons.
I absolutely am not, actually.
I know. But I think that is a good, like, serious, funny double feature, like
Yes.
Freakier Weapons, or Weapons Friday. I don't know which rolls off the tongue anymore. But then, speaking of Oscar Isaac again, in the fall, Frankenstein comes out.
Yep.
Zootopia 2. So, like,
Oh.
Frankentopia.
Yep.
Zooenstein. I think that those could be.
Yep.
No.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Especially because I'm so hyped. I'm trying to remember, though, if they're putting Frankenstein in the theaters. I know it's a Netflix
Right.
movie and it's going to Netflix, but
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
if it's getting a.
so excited for
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Totally.
It's got all the people I love. So, but Weapons and Freakier Friday, I feel like in terms of juxtaposition
Contrast.
or whatever, contrast here is such a good one. Yeah, we're watching Weapons this upcoming week.
Are you watching it?
Oh yeah, and I'm stressed
You
out
have
of my mind
to. It's
because
your job.
it's my job and it's so
I'm
frustrating.
so sorry.
And I'm gonna watch it in IMAX. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die watching it on the largest screen
Oh,
possible. But because especially because one of the ones I thought would be great is Together.
oh yeah.
maybe Together and Wicked, part 2.
Oh.
I don't know. Anyways, but Together was not just a horror movie,
Yeah.
but like body horror.
Okay.
And the sound design, I hate the crunching of bones, the weird, and it was like just a mixture of like distorted bending bodies, like with there was flashbacks of The Ring in my mind.
Okay.
There was some weird, just the grotesque nightmare body. I don't know. There's just and hair, like hair to me can be pretty and there's this one specific scene that is just I can see it in my mind right now. But anyways, that ruined me last week.
Okay.
I loved the movie, like the overall as in terms of filmmaking and the story and all that, great. The performances were insanely good. I love that Dave Franco and Alison Brie are the characters and actually married. And so that was all fun. I will never watch it again. It was like a log it on Letterboxd, and then I'm trying to move on.
Yeah.
And now I have to do Weapons back to back. So
I'm so nervous for you.
it is. I hear though Weapons is like one of the
Right.
best movies
Right.
of the year. So
Right. I hate that because I want to watch it, but I absolutely do not want to watch it. So
yes,
I appreciate you being the scapegoat.
absolutely. Well, Sarah, thank you for talking about Barbie. All the listeners, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. But I want to ask before we fully close off. So if people want to tune out, by all means. But just because I feel like, okay, so we had again Wes Anderson. Did you watch The Phoenician Scheme? I wanted to talk about these indie stuff that's coming out because I didn't know. One, we're getting another Coen brother, just one of the brothers.
Right.
Honey, don't. I did not know about that till like a week ago.
Okay.
And then I can't remember if you're a Paul Thomas Anderson fan. And because this is probably the most excited I've been for a PTA film in a long time.
Yeah.
But anyways, going back to the beginning, did you watch Phoenician Scheme?
I haven't seen Phoenician Scheme.
Okay.
And I feel like such a fake fan. I just didn't get around to it. But it's
Did you watch Asteroid City?
yes. I loved Asteroid City.
Okay.
I did. I know it had some mixed reviews, but I found it very endearing.
And French Dispatch?
I didn't like that one as much. That one didn't grab me as much. And that might have been like COVID, just watching it at home.
Right.
Part of that.
Because I feel like after Grand Budapest, I don't know if I've ever liked any of the movies that came after that as much as the movies before.
Yeah, which is fair. I feel like Grand Budapest is my favorite. So it's like, that was just peak. And so I get like comparing everything to that's a challenge with him, is that he has such a distinct style.
Right.
And, like, so much of his stuff feels formulaic that it's really easy to rank them.
Right.
Yeah, I need to do a full rewatch.
Because I would love to hear your thoughts after you see on Phoenician Scheme, because I don't know if I'm just ruining these movies for myself, but maybe I need to give Asteroid City a second watch, because it's strange, because I feel like Asteroid City and Phoenician Scheme are like, this is what Wes has been working up to. Like this, like they're the most Wes, like from set design to cinematography to the dialogue. Like this is like, he's just getting more and more like fine tuning who he was. Grand Budapest for me was also like, it's peak, like that's peak enjoyment for me. And then everything else has gone down. But I feel like too, that's kind of what happens sometimes, where these writer directors get a blank check from one movie like Grand Budapest, and then they can make whatever they want, and now they take these risks that they want to take and make the stuff they want to make.
Yeah.
Because I'm the problem, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm the problem, not Wes. I want to love Phoenician Scheme. I caught it very late after it was released, several weeks, and I found one showing, and where I was like, you know what, I will be so sad if I don't watch this in theaters. Yeah. So I watched it, and I was like, oh man, I felt okay about it. So
sure.
I don't know, but anyways, I know you're a Wes fan, so I was curious if you had was able to make it. But I agree, if it wasn't, maybe that's why I made it the sweet and condensed thing, because otherwise school just it just takes over.
Totally.
It's a lot. But yeah, so you knew about Honey Don't?
Yes. My TikTok has all the movie trailers in the algorithm. So
Love it.
that popped up. Same with the Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
I know. I always forget that it's like I think it's one battle after another,
Yeah.
but it took me like 19 trailer watches in order for me
That's
to
great.
remember the name of the movie.
Yeah. I think that'll be so good. Like I'm so glad that we get to see Leo like full unhinged and that he's like kind of out of like the heartthrob
Yes.
trying to be hot shit
Right.
roles, and now it's like, okay, we're letting loose. Let's see where this goes. I think that'll be really exciting.
Yeah, give me Haggard crashing out.
Yeah.
Later retired in life.
Right.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes.
Because even I love Rick Dalton. Rick Dalton's one of my favorite Leonardo. I read the book, and the whole time I'm like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Like hearing in the book the things that were said and the way that Rick Dalton is, I was like, this is the perfect casting. Well, the book was written after the movie came first, and then he wrote a book.
Okay.
So that's another. So maybe it's not necessarily perfect casting.
Sure.
Anyways, it's well written. Maybe that's it. It's the perfectly written character based on Leonardo. But
Here we go.
But even in that one, he's kind of like the heartthrob.
Yeah.
Even though he's older. So I agree that this is like we're seeing him in bathrobe, freaking out, paranoia, revolutionary. And then the thing that sold me was the movie poster with the pregnant woman just shooting like one of the largest machine guns I've ever seen. So I was like, this is going to be insane. This movie's going to be. Because did you watch Licorice Pizza?
No.
Okay. It was weird.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. I don't won't go as far to say I don't think it was bad. I just think it was, it was weird.
Yeah.
But I just found out that person that's the guy that's in it, that's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. He was in SNL too, or Saturday Night,
the
remake.
movie about it.
Yes. And I like after someone told me that, I was like, I can't unsee it. And also, I am so happy. PSH, he's one of my beloveds. So,
Totally.
what was that other movie I just mentioned about? Anyways, I think maybe that was it.
Okay.
I
Honey.
don't know. There's some good movies coming out.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. Worthing what I can never say Heights, the book Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering.
Is that on your radar? Do you know who's doing that?
Yes. Is that Emerald?
And I'm so excited.
I was not a Saltburn fan, but I did like Promising Young Women.
Okay.
So I love Margot Robbie. I think Jacob Elordi's okay. So I am open to
Not as. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Hyped about it.
I'm a Saltburn stan. Like
Right.
I will defend that movie to my grave, which unfortunately is probably not the best choice of words for this scenario. But I think Saltburn is. I think Emerald is more than the nepo baby that some of the internet likes to make her out to be. That I think she has some real talent, and I think she's smart, and I think she's well done. But you really have to deep dive on the internet to, I think, appreciate Saltburn. I've read probably more than I would like to admit that trying to figure out why I love Saltburn so much.
Okay.
But anyways,
I respect.
Yeah. I guess my last question would be: is there any? I know you said you don't have a lot of time. Is there a movie that you're like most excited for this year?
Probably Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
It's like Oscar Isaac. It's
Done.
10 toes down already.
Is he your number, like your top, like if this person's in it, I'm watching it?
Probably. I have a list that varies. Andrew Garfield.
Oh, yes. Did you watch We Live in Time?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my gosh. Talk about a full movie.
Right.
I was a mess.
That was rough. For sure. But I love him so much.
Yeah. He's great. But alrighty, Sarah. Well, thank you again so much for joining us today. It was so much fun.
Thanks for having me.
I love chatting movies with you. So
yeah, always. We've been doing it for 10 years.
Decades.
Yeah. Literally.
Serious. Yeah, it's weird how time, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like a child,
Yeah.
and oftentimes I'm like, I am a kid.
Right.
I'm not an adult. But then I forget I'm 33, and it
Yeah.
feels like that's a lot of life.
Right.
Like, I just told my boss I'm 4 years away from my 20-year high school reunion, and that just feels, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's intense. Anyways, well, and thank you listeners for listening. Thank you for joining us. You know the drill. Likes, subscribe, share with podcasts with people, all those good things. Leave ratings and reviews. Everything's helpful. Give us your money on Patreon. Give us your subscriptions on sweetandcondensed.com. We're having a lot of fun over there writing about the latest and greatest movie releases and whether or not they're worth the price of admission, because movie tickets are getting outrageous in some of these larger cities. If you're in Albuquerque, I'm jealous. $12 IMAX tickets. Go to the South Valley, AMC. It's one of the best movie theaters. I know. It's me and my mother went to a daytime show of Complete Unknown, and I think I paid $12 for the both of us. So you have it great down there. Sure, you have to make a trek down to the South Valley, but it's in a great shopping center. And AMC, I'm a ride or die, A-Stubs, A-List member. Please sponsor us. But yeah, so anyways, that's what we're doing over at sweetandcondensed.com, sending this newsletter. Also putting on movies that you should put on your watch list that are coming out that you may or may not have heard about. So thank you again for listening, and until next time.